Welcome to the Cyber Chronicles. My name is Brian Stevenson and I am your host. This week we're going to have another great episode. We're going to talk about Firefox adding Tor Browser anti-fingerprinting technique called letterboxing. We're going to talk about NSA releasing a cybersecurity tool in open source. We're going to talk about the Rush University medical records breach. Been across the news quite a bit. And we're going to talk about an article on Yahoo that was shared most frequently that senators say Equifax was neglected cybersecurity for years. Not a great reflection on Equifax. Let's get started. Okay, our fifth most popular article, it's actually kind of a tie here, and I'm going to talk about the one that I think more people are interested in. Google Chrome has a zero-day vulnerability found that can be exploited in the wild. The top security expert, one of the top security experts within Google, recommended when should you update your Google Chrome. He said immediately. So I would take that for what it's worth, and I would update your Google Chrome if you've not done so in an automatic capability ready right away. So this is a vulnerability within Google Chrome that people can take over your web browser and then get into your system itself. So that is our fifth most popular article of the week, and we're going to move on to our next most read article across the internet. Okay, our next article comes from us from Wired Magazine. They have just incredible content coming out in the last 12 months on the cybersecurity front. So NSA makes a powerful cybersecurity tool open source. The National Security Agency develops, as you know, advanced hacking tools in-house for offense and defense. But what you didn't know is or you probably knew, is a lot of these have been leaked in recent years. On Tuesday at the RSA conference, that's the big trade show for cybersecurity that occurs once a year, the agency demonstrated a new tool, internal tool, that is chosen to be open source. So it's contributing. So what Rob Joyce from the NSA cybersecurity expert stated, that this is a contribution for the nation's cybersecurity community. But no doubt it's going to be used beyond our borders in the United States. But kind of interesting now they're using an open source tool. So hats off for doing that and contributing to our cybersecurity community. So with that, let's move on to our next article. Okay, our next most popular article of the week comes to us by ZDNet. They always have great content. Mozilla, who has a product called Firefox, among other products that it has, is being announced to have an upgrade and release 67 this mid-May. And what they're doing is they're adding an additional privacy component to their browser called letterboxing. And what it does is it adds gray spaces to your web browser on both sides. Basically, when you resize your browser. This has been used quite a bit in Tor browsers for a long time. One of the ways that people identify you is your browser and the size of your browser. And most people always have it in a maximum capability. So Mozilla is taking Tor's recommendation or feature, and they're adding it to their Firefox product. So that's coming out mid-May. That's our next article. I don't know which article we're on. So that's our next article across this week's internet. Okay, this article hit a lot of media sources, came out. We have it as number 2, but it easily could be ranked number 1 if you add up all the sources and aggregate the numbers together. In fact, someday we will probably be more sophisticated and do that. But at this point, this is our second most popular article of the week, if I can speak. And it talks about the Rush University Medical Center had a breach. Officials of the Rush University Medical Center said on Monday a vendor shared a file containing patient information to an unauthorized third party. And Rush Medical Center learned of the breach on January 22nd. They just announced it on, drumroll please, March 4th. A little bit of time between the notice of the breach and actually telling people about the breach. It's contacted all patients involved in offering them 12 months of free identity protection and a toll-free dedicated call center to answer any questions. But this goes to our recommendation that we have in our education thing. You got to have a incident response plan in place. A month and a half is a long time to announce to your clients and your customers you've had a data breach, and now you're just announcing it. It'd be interesting to see if any fines follow suit to the Rush University Medical Center. But you can't wait that long. It's just not in your best interest, and it doesn't reflect well on your organization. So that was our second most popular article, huge breach out of the Rush University Medical Center. Let's move on. Okay, our most popular article shared across the internet last week was an article on Yahoo. This is the first time we've seen Yahoo on since we started this thing. But Yahoo had an article that talked about the Equifax breach. Equifax neglected cybersecurity for years. A new Senate report claims Equifax neglected cybersecurity for years, and because of its poor cybersecurity practices, 140 million people had their personal information exposed in the massive 2017 breach. Senator Tom Carper out of Delaware, in an interview with Yahoo Magazine, stated, "I was surprised a company as big as Equifax, with so much sensitive information on so many people, was so ill prepared to anticipate a cyber attack and be able to thwart it." Thwart, that's a word that I don't really like, but he used it in his sentence. Also, the CEO of Marriott talked about their breach, and they just had a small little breach of 500 million people's information. So they're surprised. If you're in cybersecurity, like probably most of you are to watching this video, you're probably not surprised. Even large enterprises have, in some cases, do not take cybersecurity seriously until after there's been a breach. So that is an article on Yahoo Finance. You can read it with the link down below. And with that, this is our cybersecurity episode of the week. As always, please click on that button below for subscribe, and be safe and take care.